Okay, students, this is Professor Coco here, and just like I've done to welcome you to the course with a two-part video and then a video to introduce Unit 1, now I'm doing this video to introduce you to Unit 2, which is titled Book Club. So the deal with Unit 2 is that, like most units, it's going to take 3 weeks of our time, and it will comprise either 3 or 4 graded assignments. I'm thinking about eliminating one of the assignments, and that'll be determined based on how we do as we proceed through the unit. If we're feeling really cramped and tight, we might eliminate it, but I might keep it in there. So that's a sort of the to be determined deal. So just like any other unit, what you have here in course contents is a unit module front page, and that reads, as you can see right on your screen right now, Unit 2 Book Club, and it'll go, as I said, the September 21st and 23rd, the 28th and the 30th, and then we will wrap it up on week 6 of the course, which is October 5th and October 7th. Do be reminded, it's not listed here on the front page, and I will go back and correct that. But Thursday, September 30th is going to be a Zoom class, and it'll fit in really well to this unit because that's when you'll be doing book club. So this unit is based on the compare and contrast method of organization only. Remember, in Unit 1, you did several different things. You wrote an identity essay, which is essentially an exemplification essay, excuse me. Then you wrote a narrative, which was just that, a narrative. Then you wrapped up that unit by writing a summary. Now we're moving on to compare and contrast. And beware of us, as I've said within this packet, and I'll reiterate once again, compare and contrast can be tricky. So we'll have to watch out for what we're doing. But what I've decided that you will use for your topics for comparing and contrasting are 2 essays from the book. So not only is this going to be a compare and contrast essay, it's going to be a literary argument essay. All these fancy English language jargon words that we'll be throwing around as we proceed through this unit. So, first thing you should do is your brief Bedford reader reading, and that is chapter 5, which is, surprise, surprise, on the compare and contrast method. Do read it over carefully. I definitely will be giving you a quiz on it, so just beware of that. Then the next thing you should do, or maybe you should even do this simultaneously, is to download the packet, right? You click on this module and you'll get into the table of contents, and the first thing you'll see is the compare and contrast book club packet. And download and print that out. And importantly, in this unit, what we're going to be doing is dividing ourselves up into groups. And that means that you guys will be able to select from 5 different pairs of essays. So they all have something in common. In other words, these are paired selections. The 2 essays could be about racial divisions. The 2 essays could be about homelessness. The 2 essays could be about communication. You'll discover as you read through them and you read through BBR and look at a little bit more of a synopsis about them and such, you'll be able to figure out what the themes of each of them are. So the first thing we're going to do is make our choices. And what I'd like you to do is look over the paired selections, go back to your textbook and read a little bit more about the 2 essays so you really have it firmly in your mind which one you think you'd like to work with. But you should have a second choice in mind. So in other words, the packet lists choice A, choice B, choice C, choice D, and choice E. So be sure to have a second choice in mind. And that is so when we divide up into our different book clubs, I don't want one book club with 6 members and one book club with only 2. So I want to try to even things out. So as I call you and ask you what your choice is, we might switch over to your second choice. I hope that's clear to you all. So those are the first 2 things, 3 things to do, right? Download the packet, read the chapter in BBR, take a look at the essays and choose a first and second choice of your essay. So that's how you should begin. And then what we'll do is we'll have a model in class. We will have 2 paired essays in class that we'll work through every assignment with based on that model so that you'll know what you're doing. So after you have made your choice and I have acknowledged that you can use those 2 essays, that particular pair, what you'll want to do is read them definitely twice. I would even suggest 3 times. And when I'm talking read, I want you to read them very, very critically. I think you should be underlining, you should be writing text, you should be writing little messages to yourself on the text, in the margins, circling, starring, questioning, exclamation points, etc. So after you do that, after you've got a good handle on those 2 essays, that's when you're going to go into the Thursday, September 30th book club. And essentially what you're going to do is you're going to chat about the 2 essays with your fellow book club partners. And I'm going to make this a structured small group setting because sometimes I know when you get into breakout rooms, it's sort of like, what the heck are we supposed to be doing here? So for each pair of essays, for each particular book club, I'll have specific questions that I really want you guys to talk about and discuss and answer. And that's where the optional BBR prompt comes in. If you'll note right here, I have a 2.2 response to a BBR question. And that's the one where I might have you do it and we might forego it. We'll just have to see how things play out. So then after you do have your Zoom book club meeting, and indeed, even if you're not turning in anything, you should be taking notes at that breakout session during Zoom. Then what you'll be doing after that, and this will be required, is you do have to provide me with a thesis statement that you're going to be using for this essay. It's going to be an open thesis statement as literary argument papers usually are, and I'm going to give you lots and lots of samples because this can get tricky. As I said, compare and contrast is really kind of a challenging method of development, and comparing and contrasting writing is even a little bit more difficult, but I think you're up for the challenge. So after we look at some samples for how thesis statements might be composed and such, I will want you to do a journal entry with your own thesis statement from the 2 essays. And then just like we've done before in all the other assignments in Unit 1, you'll be writing a final essay. I'm going to give you time for this. This is definitely one where you might want to call on Coach Victor for help. You might want to schedule a private Zoom with me. You might want to go to the Writing Center to organize your thoughts. But as we go through this unit step by step, I will also be presenting samples to you from the model essays. So you'll know what a thesis statement should look like. So you'll know what a final introductory paragraph should look like. So you'll know what a final product indeed should look like. I am targeting Thursday, October 7th for the final paper due date. I'm not even sure right now whether that will hold, whether we'll extend it a little bit, whether it'll be hard copy or whether it'll be in the upload file. Those are all items yet to be determined, but I thought you could at least get an overview right here and now of what will probably transpire during the course of this unit. I think it's going to be fun. I hope you think so too. Pick your essays based on interest. They should be something that you can grab hold of, a theme or a message or a topic that really, that you take to, because you'll be spending 3 weeks with it. It should be something that's of interest to you. So any other questions, I will certainly entertain and discuss in class, and I don't mind doing that. In fact, I appreciate it. So once you listen to this audio and once you take a look at the packet and such, please bring your questions to class as we start the unit basically next week on September 21st. I am recording this on the 15th. So that's it. Moving on, moving upward. Bye-bye.